This is take two. Hopefully, this is the last time I have to record the video. And this is also I'm doing something a bit different today. I will get back to movie reviews here soon, but today's video I'm gonna do is how I became a fan of Scooby-Doo. And you might be asking, well, why am I doing this video in particular? Well, a YouTuber who I really like, Bobby Reynolds, he actually did a video on his YouTube channel back in 2023 called How I Became a Fan of Godzilla, and he said it was going to be a part of a video series he did, but he doesn't post videos on YouTube anymore. So, if he's not going to continue it, I might as well continue that series for him. So, yeah, on my channel, of course. And today's video I'm doing is how I became a fan of Scooby-Doo. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it is. I mean, it's one of the most well-known iconic media franchises of all time. I mean, how could you not know what it is? But anyways, how I first became a fan of this of Scooby-Doo, my first exposure to it was actually the 1969 TV series Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, which ran from 1969 to 1970. And when that TV show came out, it received phenomenal reviews by critics and audiences, and it was a smash hit. In fact, that TV show was so popular, and that show was so popular that in total, we have had 14 Scooby-Doo TV shows over the decades, about 43 movies, mostly direct-to-video, and quite a few video games too. And it's definitely one of the longest running media franchises for sure. I mean, we even have like a live action Netflix TV series coming out next year, which, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that because, yeah, Netflix, they don't have the best track record. So I'm very skeptical on how that'll turn out, but we're not here to talk about that. But anyways, going back to it, if I remember correctly, I would like to say I was around like maybe I think I was around 6 or 7 years old when I first saw the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You TV series. And that made me a fan of Scooby-Doo, and then I discovered that, and I was able to watch it because my parents basically bought it on DVD for me when I was a kid, and me and my sister grew up watching it a lot, and yeah, really liked it. And then also my dad also then got us Scooby-Doo, What's New Scooby-Doo on DVD, which is one of the older, which is another Scooby-Doo TV series that ran from 2002 to 2006, and I do like that TV show. It is pretty good too. And then the one I watched after that TV show wise was Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which ran from 2010 to 2013, and I think I was around 9 years old when I first saw that show, so around 2012, and I personally think it's the best Scooby-Doo TV show in my personal opinion, although the original classic is a very close second. But I think the reason I like Mystery Incorporated the best is because it's more of a story-driven TV series from the other Scooby-Doo TV shows. Now, do not get me wrong, the original Scooby-Doo is a classic, but let's be honest, it was never really a story-driven episode where an episode ends on a cliffhanger, it was not one of those, it was never one of those types of shows. But Mystery Incorporated was really the first Scooby-Doo TV show that was like, all right, let's try that, see if it works. And it did, because the reviews and the ratings for that show were good. It's actually considered the best Scooby-Doo TV series, which I would happen to agree with. And I actually recently rewatched the TV show on Netflix, Mystery Incorporated. Still holds up really well. Now, movie-wise, most of the movies that have been made are direct-to-video, and I will say a good chunk of the direct-to-video movies are pretty good. Like, my favorite Scooby-Doo movie is Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island from 1998. And I'm gonna say, for a movie that was rated PG, that movie was not afraid to get dark. It definitely pushed the boundaries for what you could do with Scooby-Doo, because at that point, Scooby-Doo as a brand kind of died off, because yes, you had the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You TV show, which was a huge hit. And then you also had the Scooby-Doo show, which was like a revival sequel sequel TV show, if you will, to the original Where Are You TV show, which, I mean, the ratings for that, were decent enough, and it did get a good reception, but it wasn't anywhere near as big of a hit as Where Are You was, and then they tried this Scooby and Scrappy show, which the rating at that point, the ratings for the Scooby Doo and the Scrappy show and the Scooby Doo and the new Scrappy show, like the ratings for those were not really that great. And then they also tried again with a pup named Scooby Doo, although that TV show, which ended in 1991, did not really do that great. So the franchise was kind of put on hold after that. I mean, and then in 1987, you had Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, the direct-to-video movie from 1987, which is pretty good. And then Ghoul School, which came out in 1998, which is pretty good too. So then the franchise kind of took a break after that. But then in 1998, it was released straight to VHS with Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and that was by far the most successful Scooby-Doo movie. And that movie sold so well that ever since then they've made a bunch of direct-to-video movies, and there also has been some theatrically released movies too. I mean, of course, you had the two live-action Scooby-Doo movies, starring Matthew Lillard as Shaggy and Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred, which I do like those two movies for what they are, despite their flaws. They're not perfect, but I like them for what they are. And how I was first exposed to the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, my grandma Cheryl actually had the first two movies on VHS at her house. And I was around 8-ish, I think around 8 years old when I first saw them, but yeah, and I enjoyed them for what they were. Now, I wouldn't say I love them like I used to, but I still do think that they are good movies. But I absolutely love Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I think that movie is fantastic and easily the best Scooby-Doo movie. And there are also some others that I do really like. Like, I also really enjoyed The Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase, The Alien Invaders, Legend of the Vampire, and even Camp Scare in terms of one of the more recent ones. Some pretty good ones. And Camp Scare, I think I was around like 8 or 9, right around there, maybe 10 if I'm remembering right when I first saw that movie. And I actually do have Abracadabra on DVD at my dad's house. Now, I am going to show off some DVDs. Now, the Scooby-Doo DVDs I have at home are not all the DVDs I have of it, because some of it are at my dad's, and these copies are scratched, so I probably should replace them at some point because I'm a physical media collector. But here we have the Scooby-Doo Where Are You TV show that ran from 1969 to 1970. Absolute classic show, like I said. And then the 1985 TV show, The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which I do like this TV series, even though they did kind of end it on a cliffhanger, and at least in TV show format, never really continued it. Now, I know they did like a direct-to-video movie. I know they did like a direct-to-video movie sequel to this, but I heard that was terrible and that it kind of disrespected this movie. So I'll cover all the movies at some point, but that's going to be a while yet because there's 43 movies, so that's going to take me quite some time to do. And some of the other Scooby-Doo TV shows, like I said, Where Are You is a classic. Mystery Incorporated is really good, and What's New Scooby-Doo is really good too. I also do like the Scooby-Doo show for what it is, and the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is good too. I also do like the TV show, the new Scooby-Doo movies, which was basically a TV show where they had like guest stars on it, which I thought that was an interesting premise for a Scooby-Doo TV series. There was even an episode where they had the Three Stooges in it, which I thought was pretty cool. And some of the other Scooby-Doo stuff, like I forget what it was called. I think, if I remember right, I think it was called Shaggy and Scooby Get a Clue. Like, that was one of the Scooby-Doo TV shows that I haven't seen it in a long time, but but from what I remember not really caring for that show. Like a Scooby-Doo TV show that is like a spy show, I'm like, that doesn't really fit Scooby-Doo. It just I didn't really dig the animation style of it, so I couldn't really get into that show, although I haven't watched it in probably in at least 14 years at least, so maybe I need to give it a fresh watch and see if my opinion changes, but I remember not caring for that show too much. And then of course there was the Velma TV show, which I didn't watch. I heard that show was god awful because the thing is with Scooby-Doo is that Scooby-Doo started off as a property for both children and adults to enjoy. Like, it started off as a children TV series. But I heard the Velma TV show was a terrible TV show because they basically tried to sexualize it and make it for adults, and it backfired terribly because the Velma TV show got terrible ratings and is widely regarded. And the Velma show from 2023, that show bombed, and like the ratings for that show were really bad. In fact, it's actually currently regarded as one of the worst TV shows ever made, where they basically made a spin-off about Velma, but apparently Scooby-Doo wasn't even in the show. I'm like, that's stupid. You can't have a Scooby-Doo TV show without Scooby-Doo. I mean, what's next? Are they gonna make an April O'Neil TV series without the Ninja Turtles? Like, is that the direction we're heading next? Like, that would be really stupid. But I will say with Scooby-Doo, I will say that the vast majority of movies the vast majority of Scooby-Doo content far outweighs the bad, and it's definitely gone on for many decades, and it will continue to go on for many decades. And yeah, I'm definitely a fan of it. So yeah, and then another thing, like, they were gonna do a third live action Scooby-Doo movie with Matthew Lillard returning as Shaggy and Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred, but it didn't happen because the second one was a box office bomb. And then in 2009, we got that really bad made-for-TV prequel movie, The Mystery Begins, which was like a really bad prequel. And then they did a sequel to it called Lake Monster, which, to be honest, I don't even remember. I don't even remember if I saw The Curse of the Lake Monster or not, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, Mystery Begins was crap. But again, overall, like I said, when it comes to the overall franchise of Scooby-Doo, the good far outweighs the bad. I will definitely say that. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will eventually cover some of these movies down the line. I mean, really, the only TV show, well, the only thing about Scooby-Doo that I've reviewed so far is, of course, my favorite Scooby-Doo movie, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, released in 1998. But the reason I reviewed that movie back in October was because a YouTuber who I really like, Cody Leach, he did a video called 31 on 31 Outbreak Protocol, where he basically ranked 31 zombie movies, both classic and modern, all together in one video, and that was one of the movies. So me reviewing it gave me an excuse to talk about it to make that video on my channel. So there you go. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye now.